The Miami Dolphins with the injury to James Daniels. They signed an offensive lineman today, but is that good enough? Also, Tyreek Hill. More allegations have surfaced, and with trade rumors bubbling, has his trade value already plummeted after week one? Plus, what did the week one film tell us? We got a lot to discuss, a lot to go over. Do me the favor, smash the like button, subscribe if you are new, and as always, let's get into this.
Loses the football. Touchdown! Got it!
You have got to be kidding me.
Jalen Waddle has a Dolphin touchdown. And he will score!
Field down the near side, man open. Touchdown!
The run from Tua Tagovailoa.
Touchdown!
He's going deep. He's got it for a touchdown again.
Beautiful day to be a Dolphin fan.
Let's go!
What is good, Fin Nation? What's good? It's your boy Reason, and we are back here for another one. Appreciate each and every one of you coming through. As man, we are another 24 hours removed from that debacle just a few days ago. And really, I'm starting to get into Patriots mode because it's you got to have a short memory, right? At least when you're a player, you got to have a short memory. So as a fan, as an analyst, as a content creator to cover the team, got to have a short memory. Because I will say this, for as bad as the fans think they have it, I mean, try being a content creator. Like when we're doing good, the fans who are negative get killed. When we are doing bad, the fans who are positive and the content creators who are positive, they get killed. So it's like we all take turns here. It's mentally taxing and it's rough at times. I'll tell you that much. But it is what it is. It comes with the territory. So it's definitely an experience. That one's for sure. So shout out to all of you in the chat, though. Well over 100 of you already in the chat. Appreciate all of you coming through. Penda's in the chat says next 2 weeks will determine our season and what to expect for the last 14 games. I had a Patreon update and a channel member update. I had an episode of 3 Takes where I said the first 4 weeks are going to determine everyone's fate in that building. I'll tell you right now, if they put up a dud in New England, how do you let these guys, how do you let McDaniel and Greer on the plane? Sorry, at home against New England. How do you let them leave the building or go to the podium with their jobs? I misspoke. We're in Buffalo the week after. I'll say the same thing if you lose to Buffalo. See, even if you win this week, but you go and you get embarrassed by Buffalo, how do you let them get on the plane? See, and I had a conversation with someone today, and they made a great point. Even if we lose this week, should we really expect changes to come? Because we're going to be on a short week. And because they're on a short week, do you really think, let's say they want to make Anthony Weaver the interim head coach. You really think they're going to throw him to the fire on a short week against the Bills? Now, I'm going to tell you I would. We got to figure that out. That's the next question. Okay, is Anthony Weaver the guy? You got to figure that out right away. You ain't got time to, as soon as, because I've said this before. Listen, I was advocating for McDaniel and Greer to be replaced when we were 2-6 last year. After I saw what I saw in week one, you think I'm gonna change that up? Like, I'm going to tell you this much. I'm at the point where if they won this week in New England and then they went into Buffalo and won, I don't even think I'd buy back in. You know? Like, I don't understand what else needs to be seen by Stephen Ross. I don't know what else needs to be understood. And I'm going to keep hammering this because it came off of the film. I came away watching it twice. Well, 3 times. I watched it live with y'all. I watched the full thing by myself. And then I watched the 30-minute condensed version. And now I've watched the all 22. So I've watched this game like 4.5 times, okay? I'm going to keep talking about this. The level of unpreparedness we saw on all 3 phases, that looks like a team. You don't see that till week 16, 17, or 18. When a team is out of the playoffs and just checked out on their coach and you got people who don't believe him anymore. I was hopeful it wouldn't happen. But my biggest fear coming away from training camp after talking to people has happened. That's what I saw. And I'm talking about coaches and players. I'm not talking about just one or the other. Like, I just... What more do you need to see, Steven? Like, you know, my hope is this comes across Stephen Ross's desk. And this is what I'll say to him. What more do you need to see with the coach and the GM right now? You're better off giving the reins to Anthony Weaver. Finding out right away if it's good. And if, you know, if the first couple weeks with him don't go well and they continue to lose, give him a little nudge and say, hey, you want the same deal I was going to give Flores? I'll give you a couple $100,000 to lose each game and I'll bring you back next year. And we'll start building the team in your vision. You know, like, let's be honest here. Because we're at the point now where you're about to hear cellar dwellers for sellers, get on the Nuss bus and steer from a tier. I'm telling you, the more and more, I don't know. You know, I love Nuss. I love sellers. I've been talking about Nuss since last August. I've been talking about sellers since May as an option. Talking about him before that, but May as a real option. Man, you got to strongly add John Mateer to that list. You go watch that kid. He's beaten Michigan. He's winning big games. He's a great athlete. He's got an arm. The vibe in Oklahoma is real right now because of him. You know, like... I'm telling you, man. And, you know, a lot of people have asked me what I think about... I like Drew Aller. You know, my issue with Aller is this. Because the traits are there. But the athleticism is not. Like, he's not going to create out of structure like a Mateer, like a Sellers, or even like a Nussmeier. My issue with Drew Aller is in the big moments. That's my issue with Drew Aller. All of you that have issues with Tua and McDaniel, like, you know, and I've got issues with them too in the big moments. I just know why, right? McDaniel, no experience. Tua, since Alabama, missing out on key reps because they're blowing out every team. And then he gets injured when he comes here and he misses key reps like 2022 Buffalo, you know, playoffs. We probably would have beat them with Tua, and those would have been key reps for him to develop and gain some confidence in big moments. Didn't happen. But that's my issue with Drew Aller is he's not good in big moments. Honestly, I'm really starting to lean this way. Sellers, you guys know I love Sellers, but he needs development as a passer, right? Nussmeier, you look at him, he's a great processor. It's just sometimes his decision-making gets really freaking wonky, you know, and he forces the ball. You know, all these guys have stuff to improve on, but I'm telling you, man, 2 weeks in, and to me, John Mateer has probably been the best quarterback that's eligible for this draft class. Now, maybe Mateer doesn't come out, but if he keeps playing this way, why wouldn't he? I prefer Bevel as the interim head coach. Listen, they're not going to give that because of the need, the need and want and desire for Anthony Weaver around the league. That's why I don't think they're gonna. That's why I don't think they're gonna give him. I don't. Yeah, Mateer's 6'1", 224 for sure. But, I don't really stress about that. He's just a baller, right? Listen, what's Baker Mayfield? You guys know I wanted Baker Mayfield after Tua's injury in 2022 when we lost to Buffalo with Skylar Thompson. What was I saying? We need to go get Baker Mayfield. You can get Baker Mayfield for cheap now. That's the guy. Bring him in to compete with Tua. And I said if Baker wins, he wins because I got a man crush on Baker Mayfield, and I think he's a fantastic quarterback. Threw for 41 touchdowns last year. John Mateer's kind of the same size as Baker. They're both 6'1". Baker's 215. Mateer's 224. They're like the same size, But I think Mateer's a little bit better of an athlete. I think you're going to see a guy who runs in the mid 4.5s to the mid 4.6s when he runs a 40 with Mateer. So, yeah, that defensive performance didn't inspire me at all, brother. It gets worse when you watch the film, brother. Storm Duck was awful. Awful. All right? He was bad. All right? You remember on that first drive where they had that big hit to Warren along the left sideline? You go back and watch that, and they got inside. They got down to like our 20-ish. You watch that play, and Jalen Phillips drops into coverage as the flat defender, but he ends up having to, get in the middle of Tyler Warren breaking him above him and Jonathan Taylor breaking in him. And Storm Duck is carrying with a player that the safety over top has got. And he's so late on Warren, he even flips his hips and goes with the other receiver. He's so late on Warren when that's his man that guess what? Minka Fitzpatrick has to come over and clean up the job. Down to I think the 13 or the 12? It was bad. Storm Duck was bad. All right? And, I'll give you some more here. I know I said Jonas Savaiinaea was solid when I watched, through the first, through the broadcast. But, yeah, he had some rough reps. Jonas Savaiinaea had some rough reps in pass pro mainly. Now, we did have, a rough rep, in a run set that I remember where he didn't pick up the right defender, and that defender came along the backside and shut a Achane run down that was actually headed to the right side. But Jonas Savaiinaea had some really nice reps where he's clearing lanes with Patrick Paul, but then he had some really, really rough reps. And it's, again, James Daniels is out now. I'm throwing Jonas Savaiinaea back to the right side, but here we are. This is why I wanted Armand Membo so bad. Look at what's happening right now. James Daniels hurt. Austin Jackson hurt. This is why I wanted Jonah on the right side too. This is why I wanted Jonah over there. What are we saying? If you would have left Jonah on the right side, he could have, you could have James Daniels at left guard. He could have started at right guard. And in this type of pinch, he could have kicked out to right tackle because he has experience there. But this coaching staff, once again, is too smart for their own good. And let's put the guy into a position he's never played before and have to lead with his whole left side and play in a phone booth. You could have covered your ass a little bit with your injury-prone right side right now. Instead, what are we doing? Hoping Keon Smith and Larry Borum can hold us down on the same side. You could have split that up. You could have at least Keon Smith next to Patrick Paul at guard, so maybe Patrick Paul, even as a sophomore, can make up for some of his mistakes. And then on the right side, at least you got Jonas Savaiinaea. Yeah, he's a rookie, but you invested highly in him. I just don't get it. You know? And I never will. Reason if we struggled in 2023 with the roster we had, no way this roster can complete. Yeah, but dude, this is why they should compete. Because they should have grown and developed from that 2023 failure. Instead, everything fell off the rails last year. And all of us and our grandmothers knew when the season ended and Tyreek quit, you had to clean house. And they didn't. 2023 could have literally been an actually adversity as an opportunity and an actual learning experience, but 'twas not to be, and here we are. I want Bevel over Weaver. Yeah, there were some questionable things, like Weaver dropping Kenneth Grant into coverage. Like, what the hell was that? I'm like, what? And even on the first drive, I saw Jalen Phillips in coverage too much, and I was like, okay. This is where we're headed right now. Shout out to Rog Peru, donates $2 too. Those donations really help because I'll probably get, the last couple times we've done, film on here, the NFL's come after your boy. So, I don't know. Yeah, agreed. Games, that's it. Games in won or lost in the trenches. We say that all the time in this channel. And what have I said? For every year that since April 2020, since we started this channel, I've said this team offensively will go as far as the offensive line takes them, and here we are again. It wasn't pretty. Let me put it that way. So smash that like button, subscribe if you are new. Appreciate all of you coming through today. We got a lot to get into. We got a lot. All right, they made a move. All right, they made a roster move. On top of that, Tony Pauline, who we've, out here for the draft, Tony Pauline's pretty plugged in around the league, and he had an interesting article come out today. All right, a very, very interesting article. We'll talk about that. And did Tyreek Hill ruin his trade value? And we'll take a look at some tape. All right. So we do have a lot to go over. So smash that like button. Subscribe if you are new. I appreciate each and every one of you coming through. But before we get into everything, shout out to the sponsor of today's video. Think you know football? Then try to turn your football knowledge into real money with the Sleeper app, the ultimate fantasy sports app that can turn game day into payday. Just download the Sleeper app and pick more or less on your favorite players. With more stats than any other daily fantasy app, just choose 2 or more of your favorite players from pregame or live. Pick more or less from the predicted stats, and you could win up to 1,000 times your money if your picks win. Use promo code Phinside, and you'll get up to $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Sleeper is currently operational in over 25 states, as well as in multiple provinces in Canada. So check Sleeper out today. All right, let's not waste any more time. Let's hop right into things. First of all, the Dolphins made a roster move today. Oh, you got to love it. The Dolphins, they went out and signed Cole Strange to the active roster off of Cleveland's practice squad and placed James Daniels on the injured reserve. I mean, at least they signed a first rounder, huh? But Cole Strange shouldn't have been a first rounder. He was massively overdrafted by Bill Belichick. He was drafted 29th overall when he probably should have went in the 3rd round. All right. All right, comes from Chattanooga. Now, in all fairness to him, all right, he did win the Jacobs blocking trophy twice, right? As the best blocker, but the problem was that was the best blocker in the FCS, in the Southern Conference, not in the SEC. And it has showed up during his career, that's for sure. Now, he's a guy, too, that coaching hasn't really done him very much favors. And what I mean by that is he's been moved around a lot. Like, a lot, right? So, Cleveland, they signed him off the practice squad, and they have him playing center. He started off at left guard in New England. He's another guy that's moving around a lot. Hasn't been coached up properly in one spot. He's been a mediocre pass blocker and an underwhelming run blocker in his career, basically. So, we'll see. Do I got faith? Not right now. Because, what's funny is we kind of talked about this during the, the offseason a little bit. And I think we were the only platform that was really talking about this. Butch Barry has lost a little bit of favor that he built up in year one. And you could say more has been lost. And you guys know I didn't like the Savaiinaia from the beginning. I thought he should have been stuck at right guard or right tackle. And, and this is coming from a guy who loves Savaiinaia coming out. Just why would you got your whole one, listen, not your whole job, but a main point of emphasis of your job with rookies as a coach is to make year one as easy as possible for them as they get acclimated to the NFL. Why mess things up when James Daniels was already proven in the NFL at left guard? He's already had success at left guard in the NFL. That's to me, that's just no. Why make that decision? And then you look at, they've allowed Liam Eichenberg to stick around. They all made the decision last year that Eichenberg and Robert Jones were sufficient enough to fill in for the loss of Robert Hunt. And I was calling for jobs last year over that decision, if you remember correctly. I was calling for jobs over whoever said Robert Jones and Liam Eichenberg are viable solutions for losing Hunt as well as Robert Jones. They needed to be fired. Whoever suggested it needed to be fired. Whoever listened to this suggestion needed to be fired. Like I said this. So that's why I'm not shocked about the Savaiinaia stuff. And I've seen what they've done with Keon Smith. I'm not saying Keon Smith had the most potential, but Keon Smith looked better a couple years ago when they were just working on him at tackle. Now they moved him all around. His head's spinning, and he looks like he's regressed. So am I going to sit here and pitch faith on Cole Strange? Not really. Now, James Daniels. This means James Daniels is going to miss the first 4 weeks. That's just a fact. So now, no James Daniels. Here we go. And you got Austin Jackson. So I got no hope in Austin Jackson. The injury he has right now and he left the game with, he's been battling it all off season and preseason. Do I think it's magically going to get healed now that he's going to be taking serious reps and putting a lot of pressure on that foot? No. Once again, in a year where this guy, I keep telling all y'all, say what you want about Tua and missing games, but Austin Jackson misses a whole hell of a lot more. No. I'm good. Here we go again with this offensive line. Now y'all know why I wanted Armand Membo so bad before the combine happened, and I realized we weren't going to get him, and so now it was just full in on Kenneth Grant and Will Johnson. And I love Ted McMillan, and I was talking up Ted McMillan. Y'all see how good of a game he had with Carolina. I told y'all Ted McMillan was Drake London on steroids, and that guy looks like he's gonna be real special. He looked like, and so does my boy Emeka Egbuka, who I said if you're getting a weapon in the first round, the guy who made the most sense was Emeka Egbuka because Tyreek was leaving in a year. Y'all see Emeka Egbuka? And what came out today, Mike Evans said in the huddle, Emeka Buka called his shot to win the game. Said, give me a post route. I got this game. Like, man, if they were going to get a weapon, Emeka Buka was the move. 110%. But I wanted Armand Membo. And you are seeing exactly why. You are seeing, and then when like I said, when the combine happened, when that combine happened, and it was clear we weren't getting Armand Membo, I was all in on Kenneth Grant and Will Johnson. Will Johnson is another one who had a big day. Holy jeez. Had a big Sunday. He took Chris Olave's soul like Shang Tsung. It was beautiful. He's going to be good, man. I don't know. But anyways. But Armand Membo was exactly why I wanted this. That whole right side. Savai Nye is why I wanted Savai Nye to play right guard or right tackle. I did not want him to play left guard. So now the question becomes, rumors are swirling. All right? Pittsburgh, Kansas City, Tyreek Hill, another team I've heard of, the Denver Broncos. Rumors are swirling. Florio's talking about it. Orlovsky's asking, when is he going to ask for a trade? Now the trade rumors are all swirling around Tyreek Hill. And with this team looking like they did in week 1, if they continue to look like that, you got to offload some of your talent for picks. But has Tyreek Hill already killed all of his trade value? Here we go. Tyreek Hill accused of domestic violence by estranged wife. Tyreek Hill's estranged wife has alleged in court filings that he committed domestic violence, which the Miami Dolphins receiver has vehemently denied. According to documents obtained by TMC, Keita Vaccaro alleges 8 separate incidences of domestic violence and filings related to the couple's divorce case. Hill's attorney said in a statement Monday that the allegations are part of a shakedown, adding that they are an attempt to generate bad media coverage of Hill. According to TMZ, Vaccaro alleges that the first incident occurred in January 2024, about 2 months after her marriage to Hill. Hill has not been criminally charged, and it was unclear as of Tuesday morning whether law enforcement was investigating Vaccaro's allegations. Vaccaro filed a petition for divorce on April 8th, one day after police reported a domestic dispute between her and Hill. Hill is in the second year of a restructured 3-year, $90 million contract with the Dolphins. 5-time All-Pro player has been the center of numerous off-field incidences since joining the Dolphins in 2022, including being detained by police last September after being stopped for speeding and reckless driving. The exchange with Miami-Dade police occurred hours before the Dolphins' 2024 season opener just outside Hard Rock. Hill, 31, also was in a physical altercation with a Hullover Marina employee in June 2023, and a separate lawsuit alleges he broke social media influencer's leg that same month. And we're not even going to go into the domestic allegations with breaking his son's arm when he was in Kansas City. I mean, we're doing each other no favors on the field. Might as well do each other no favors off the field. I mean, that's just, I don't know what to tell you right now. And of course, it comes out around this time when, just feel like as a fan, you feel like you're already down and it's another kick to the gut. So, I don't know. And they're trying to label it, as a shakedown. And basically what she said was that the two were at their guest house in Southwest Ranches, Florida, when Hill went off on her during a conversation about a post-nuptial agreement. Basically, she says he shoved her to the floor, stood over, and then ripped off her necklace, causing a cut and a bruise. 2 weeks later, in late January 2024, Vaccaro claims Hill got mad at her while the two were at an Orlando, Florida hotel. Hill, she wrote in the documents, violently attacked her, throwing her to the floor, twisting her intimate body parts, ripping her hair out, and grabbing anything on her person he could get a hold of. On February 7, 2024, Vaccaro alleges Hill attacked her again as they were getting ready to leave for the Pro Bowl. Hill shoved a marijuana cigarette in her face, she claimed in the documents, and told her to get her suitcase and get out of the house. Hill then threw her suitcase out the door and threw her out the door, locking it behind her. A couple other instances is there's one incident where she says Hill spat on her. And then there's another incident where she claims he got physical with her while she was pregnant. I mean, dude, I don't know what to say, you know? Like, trade value. If this team continues to tank, no, like, because if there's an investigation into this, he could face suspension. And then what happens? Trade value's in the tank. And there you go. And we're out. And now we're just stuck with him. And we got to deal with, like, oh my God. It's just one thing after another. It's just one thing after another. I swear to God. I like, you should have traded him after he quit on you. I'm not even going to speak on the fact that, Tyreek, you were married to an absolute smoke show who knew what this life was about, and you still managed to find a way to mess that up. You come off like a guy who nothing in this world is going to make him happy. So, I don't know. You know, like, I don't know what to tell you. It is what it is at this point, and it's just another distraction, too, for this team. Why not? Just another distraction for this team. And you got to ask yourself, is there any trade value if teams are calling? They were calling after the game. They were calling after the, you know, Jeremy Fowler had an update before the season started that they were calling. Are teams still going to be calling now? Or are they going to watch and let this play out? Unbelievable. Okay, continuing on here, Tony Pauline. Tony Pauline had this article. Tony Pauline, he's plugged in. We've gone over him during the draft. This guy, he talks to people around the league. He's been in the media portion of it for over 30 years. And this is basically what he wrote here. He said, insider notes on McDaniel's potential firing, Dolphins' future uncertain, and Tagovailoa's concerns and more. The disappointment in Miami continues to grow and is close to reaching a boiling point after the team's blowout loss in Week 1 to the Indianapolis Colts. After 2 successful seasons since joining the Dolphins in 2022, when the team made the playoffs both years, the situation has continually got worse under head coach Mike McDaniel. Sources now speculate that McDaniel, as well as Chris Greer, may not survive the season if they don't turn it around quickly. McDaniel was hired by the Dolphins to be the team's head coach in February 2022, replacing Flores, who held the position the prior 3 seasons. McDaniel came from the 49ers, where he was the run game coordinator for 1 season. Where he's the offensive coordinator, but wasn't allowed to call plays for 1 season after being the team's run game coordinator the prior 4 years. During his 5 seasons with the franchise, the Niners made 2 trips to the conference title game and 1 to the Super Bowl. McDaniel's forte is running the football, and many believe that's where his problem lies in Miami. Upon taking the job at the Dolphins in 2022, McDaniel inherited Tua Tagovailoa, whom the team selected with the 5th overall pick in the 2020 draft. The new head coach was directed to elevate Tagovailoa's game and take him to the next level, something he did quite well early on. Tagovailoa showed marked improvement in his first season under McDaniel, then really took it to the next level in 2023, when he led the league in passing on his way to being a Pro Bowl quarterback. That season, Miami finished with a record 11-6 and then was ousted in the first round of the playoffs. It's been all downhill since. League sources tell me that moving away from the run game to focus the offense around Tagovailoa has hurt the Dolphins and McDaniel. Quote, they're a finesse offense with an offensive line that's not physical or consistent, one source told me, and that's not a good combination. The Dolphins' offensive line has consistently ranked as one of the worst in the league prior to the season. Another source believes that the team using speed but smaller one-dimensional offensive skill players add to the problems. Then there's the issue of Tagovailoa's health, in many ways tied to the poor offensive line. Dating back to his days with Alabama, the quarterback suffered 4 concussions, 3 which occurred in the NFL, as well as a fractured pelvis, a dislocated hip, a back injury, and other injuries that kept him off the field. Several of those concussions were difficult to watch as the quarterback staggered around the field after getting back to his feet, which led many to speculate early retirement was in the cards. Since entering the league in 2020, he has played a full season just one year. Besides an offense that struggled recently, there's also been an exodus of talent from the franchise. Christian Wilkins walked out the door via free agency, as did Javon Holland. The team traded Jalen Ramsey as well as Jonnu Smith to Pittsburgh. Then there was the retirement of Teron Armstead. Except for Wilkins, the other 4 players were lost this past season. And while many believe Miami was correct in not re-signing Wilkins to the 9-figure price tag he demanded, the attrition of talent hurt the Dolphins. League sources also believe there is no light at the end of the tunnel in the near future. Constantly trying to replace talented players who leave via free agency or are traded away, coupled with a lack of direction, is a problem and the real issue. Sources close to the situation tell me that if the Dolphins aren't competitive over the next 6-7 games, they believe owner Stephen Ross will pull the trigger and fire both before the season ends. These same sources tell me McDaniel rubs some people in the organization the wrong way, which does not mix well with a losing record. Week 1 was a disaster for the Dolphins, as they lost to the Indianapolis Colts by a score of 33-8. League insiders say it was much of a symptom of the Dolphins being a bad team, as it was a result of the Colts being that good. The Dolphins' next 7 opponents includes the Patriots, the Bills, the Jets, the Panthers, the Chargers, the Browns, and the Falcons, before they finish the month off of October against the Ravens on Thursday night. While there's a possibility of a few wins over the next few months, there's an equal, if not better, chance of a disastrous run. Ross will then be facing a difficult decision, with many in the league believing it could end up with McDaniel being shown the door. So, he says the next 6 or 7 games. I heard coming from training camp, it was the first 4 games. You just can't wait that long. The season's going to be half over. This is why I wanted to make the move, if you're going to make it, right after we lost to the Colts. Because if that happens, you know, at least you got the chance to build some momentum up over the next few games. Where, as the thing on the flip side is, if you wait another 6 or 7 games, the season could be over. And who wants to go through this, what we saw, for another 6 or 7 games? Oh, there's no way Greer isn't going with McDaniel either. Like, let's be real here. Okay? Greer is not going to get a crack at a 4th head coach. There's just no way. No way whatsoever will Greer get a crack with another head coach. So, you know, and in that situation, because you won't be able to go get you won't be able to hire outside till the offseason. So in that, just elevate Marvin Allen to GM. Make Marvin Allen the GM, Anthony Weaver the head coach, and let Bevel or Frank Smith run the offense. But Tony Pauline is plugged in. And the fact that he's hearing 6 or 7 games, man, I think the Bills game is where it all matters. I think even if you win this week, but you go get your ass handed to you by the Bills, it's over. You know, like, that's what I think. I think it's, but again, if like I said, if I was Ross, I would have done it after game 1. Because the fact of the matter is, are you going to put, if we lose this week, are you going to put Weaver on a short week against the Bills? You know? And I think the new GM, though, I think the long-term GM, I've already told you guys, and I've been saying this for a long time, I think it's going to be Brandon Shore. I think they're going to keep it in-house. Now, the one thing I've been told is Brandon Shore actually has a pair on him, you know, unlike a few of the other people in that building. So, we'll see. All right, I got some stuff I want to get into here. Got some plays I want to go over. Got about I think 18 plays I wanted to go over with you guys. So let's hop into the film. We got some stuff. I want to take a look at some stuff because, you guys, one of these things we're going to look at is not being talked about enough. So let's get into some of the film here right now. So let's start off here. It's the Colts opening drive of the game, 3rd and 8. You got Daniel Jones in the gun, Jonathan Taylor to his right, 2x2 receiver set with a stack on the right side. It's 11 personnel for the Colts. Dolphins are in cover 2. Watch Chop Robinson. Okay. All right. Now we're going to I'll let you run through it here. Okay. Now you see that. Look at the holding. Look at the holding. Now Judon's going to come across and just absolutely clean out. Just absolutely cleaned out Daniel Jones. But I'm showing this rep just to show the hold. Watch Chop Robinson here on the left side. Watch the hold here. And it's so blatant. Watch, I'm going to freeze frame it for you guys. Watch this. It's ridiculous that there's no call. Okay, look at left hand's on the nameplate. Look at this. And the ref, you see the feet at the top left of the ref. Look at this. Look at this. What is Chop supposed to do? And then look at the other side. See, the left tackle has his hands inside Judon. The hands are clean. The technique is clean. That is legal. Look at Chop Robinson. Look at this. And there's no call. Look at this. Look at this. How's you supposed to get on that? Give me a break. And that's right in front of the ref. Now, shout out to Judon for making him not want to run anymore. But that was brutal. And that ain't the only one. That was on the first Colts drive. We're going to get to more here in a sec. So I want to show this play. Okay? After the Colts made it 3-0 on that last drive. It's Miami's first drive of the game. Dolphins are in I formation. It's a handoff to Achane. He's going to go through the B gap on the left side. And watch Patrick Paul and Jonas Savannah on that left side. They're going to clear the lane and watch Ingold. He is going to lay the lumber on Zaire Franklin, who's trying to stuff the gap. It's going to be a 9-yard gain for Achane here, but this needs to be Miami's strike. Look at that. Look at that. That left side is going to be the key to their run game, especially with that whole right side hurt. That needs to be their strength, okay? So now it's 4 plays later, 2nd and 12, 2 in the gun, empty backfield, doubles with stacks on each side, 11 personnel for Miami. Colts are going to show cover 3 pre-snap. And watch this. You know, Tyreek's on the top right there inside. And I'm telling you this right now. Tua has that window to Tyreek coming off that right side. Tyreek's going to flatten out to a dig, and the ball is just going to sail right over and outreach Tyreek. Easily picked off. Got to make this throw here. It could have brought Miami into the red zone. And this is a throw Tua makes 9 times out of 10. Good protection from the offensive line here, too. Like, he makes that throw 9 times out of 10. Ball just sailed. Ball just sailed. All right, you ready for this? Watch Chop Robinson again. This is the next Colts drive. It's 3rd and 3 for the Colts, okay? Jones in the gun. Taylor to his right. This is watch Chop. This is the very next drive for the Colts, okay? Chop is going to speed rush Braden Smith, and he's going to try to spin back off him. But watch Braden Smith. He's going to have a hold of his nameplate, same spot again. And once again, Chop can't do anything. He's clearly held, and you see the ref at the top. I don't know how flag doesn't come out here. And I'll tell you why this matters in a second. Okay? Watch Chop. Look at this. All right? Hand on the nameplate already. That's a hold. And again, look at the other side. Look at the hands inside on Judon. That's legal. Look at this. Just riding him outside. Look at that's a blatant hold. Look at this. Now Chop, again, tries to spin off. Look, he can't. He's just being held there. What's he supposed to do? Now, why does this matter? Why did that matter? Ladies and gentlemen, that was a 3rd and 3. You should have pushed the Colts back to 3rd and 13 right there with a chance for the defense to get off the field, still down 3-0. Instead, here we are. Same Colts drive. All right? This is the same Colts drive now. They've driven deeper. But you should have had them at 3rd and 13 off that hold. Like, that was ridiculous. Especially twice in a row, like 2 drives in a row getting away with that. Give me a break. And remember, I'm pretty sure this was the same referee group that called that Eagles game a couple years ago against us. So now it's the same Colts drive. It's 1st and 10 for the Colts. Daniel Jones is in the gun. Taylor to his right. 1-by-3 receiver set with 1 receiver to the left. A stack to the right. All right. I'm sorry, 1-by-2 receiver set. I apologize. All right. With a stack to the right. All right. And we've got 11 personnel for the Colts. Dolphins show cover 1 pre-snap as Josh Downs is going to orbit motion. And you watch the left side of the line. Basically, Chubb's going to hit Raymond with a swipe and a swim over towards the inside that he's going to win with. Watch here. There's a swipe and swim. Boom. He wins with it. And he gets the sack despite he drew a holding call. All right. Now you watch the other side. Phillips arced out Braden Smith wide, and it's going to force Jalen Jones to try and step up into the pocket, and that's going to lead him right into Chubb, who's there to meet him for the sack right there. Great effort and motor on this play from Chubb, as Raymond was also flagged for that whole 10-yard loss on the play. All right. So now this is the next play after the sack. All right. Now remember, so this is the same drive where we should have had him at 3rd and 13 off of a hold way back deep in their own end. Okay. You got 1st and 10 at the Miami 17. Daniel Jones in the gun. Jonathan Taylor to his left. You got a 2-by-1 receiver set. All right. Stacked on the left side. 11 personnel for the Colts. Dolphins are going to show cover 1 pre-snap, but they'll drop to cover 2. Watch Storm Duck at the top with 11. Storm Duck is going to try to get physical off the line of scrimmage as Pittman moves inside, then breaks out. He's going to be slow to flip his hips and recover, which gives Pittman the right side. Gives him the right sideline on the wheel there now. And no help from Melifonu over the top. He's late to rotate. Pittman walks in for the easy 6. Just poor play from Storm Duck. And that's all I saw in his drives. Storm Duck was not good. Got bit for trying to be physical. And look at how badly he got beat. 10-0 Colts. On a drive that could have possibly be ended on a non-hold call. Dolphins ball now. 2 in the strong left pistol. 2 receivers to the right. 21 personnel for the Dolphins. Colts, they show cover 2 pre-snap. The pre-snap motion is going to show that this nickel on the right side is blitzing. Right? 2 is going to fake the handoff to Achane, and Achane's going to oversell the fake, lose his footing, and miss his blocking assignment, allowing the nickel to come free. Right? Look at, boom. 2 is going to try to step up, but Kenny Moore makes contact and gets a hand on the ball to strip it. Now, bring it back here. You want to know what's even uglier? Look at the middle of the field. There was a big play to be made here. You had Waddle and Tyreek getting past the second level into wide open space. And you've got Achane out there on a blocking assignment. Who, you go back, watch Achane when he takes the fake. Look at him slide. See? Oversold the fake. And look at what you had downfield. Just, that's tough. That's just tough. Colts recover, get the ball back. Just a nightmare start for the Miami Dolphins. Come on, man. Ugly. And Achane had a few whiffs in pass blocking. That wasn't his only one. So I take back about my comment a couple days ago about Achane. Doesn't deserve, any criticism. I lied. So now, after the Colts make it 17-0 off of the fumble recovery, the Dolphins have the ball back. It's 3rd and 9 from the Miami 36. Tua's in the gun. Wilson to his right. 3-by-1 receiver set. It's 11 personnel for Miami. Colts show cover 2 pre-snap. And watch Tanner Conner here. Tanner Conner, he's at the top with that 3 set, right? Trips to the left. He's on the inside there. And he's going to run a skinny post from that left slot. And, Tua's going to rifle it in there as soon as Conner is out of his break. The ball is on the money. Now, Conner did need to stretch out a little bit, but look at right there. The ball's right there. But it's a big 3rd down conversion when the team needed it. This is like Tua's best throw of the day up until this point. And there wasn't very many reps of them, but you look at it here, he rifled it in there. As soon as he's out of his break, boom, ball's on the money. That's good stuff, but didn't see enough of that. So now it's the next play after the Tanner Conner catch. All right, 1st and 10 at midfield, split back, gun look, 2 receivers to the left. 21 personnel for Miami, and England is going to motion right to the left horizontally. Colts show cover 3, but they'll rotate to cover 2 look. And watch the Ingold motion. It uncovers a blitz on the right side. Watch the right side. But neither Tua or Austin Jackson ID it or make an adjustment. And I think this is on Austin Jackson. Look at it uncovered the blitz. Look at even a chip here from Tanner Conner would have helped. Austin Jackson needs to call out this rusher, man. After the motion, 7-yard loss on the play. Look. See, Tua's IDing stuff on the left side. Austin Jackson, look at his head. It's not even moving. Look at Austin Jackson's head. Not one's even moving towards that off the motion. What good is having these motions that'll uncover disguises if you don't use them? Come on, man. And Austin Jackson knows he messed up. Just brutal. Now look at this. Look at this. All right? 2 plays later after that sack. Watch this. You're going to see it right away. Look at Tyreek Hill doesn't know where to line up. Look at Tua. Tua's got to babysit Tyreek, who's been in this offense for 4 years and still doesn't know how to line up. 3rd and 8, 2 in the gun, H-N to his left. 1-by-3 receiver set. 11 personnel for Miami. Cover 1 for the Colts. Odd man front for the Colts. Buckner's lined up as a 5 tech off of Patrick Paul's left shoulder. He's going to get inside Tanner Conner with ease. And again, watch. He's going to steamroll H-Chan. Look at. Boom! What good is that? What good is that? Ollie Gordon needs to get reps, ladies and gentlemen. Tua's going to try to roll to his left, but Latu, he arcs out wide to that side and takes it away. So Tua somehow avoids Buckner and tries to move up in the pocket, but it's over. Pocket collapse, play is dead for a sack. Look at that. What are you going to do? Just ugly, man. 2 sacks in 3 plays killed this drive, and a lot of it was on missed assignments and poor communication across the offensive line. H-Chan should not be put in these positions. And I'll give you another example of a player who's not going to be in the position. Look at the guy with the orange sleeves here. Right? Like, 4th and 2, you're about to get off the field, okay? Last drive, you should have, a couple drives ago, you should have forced him into a 3rd and 13, but you didn't get the holding call. Now, you finally look like you're getting off the field. 4th and 2, Judo is out here when he's not known to be a special teams player. And he's going to take a costly penalty here with running into the punter penalty that extends the Colt drives and keeps the defense on the field when they should have got off. This is poor personnel usage and coaching decision here that cost the Miami Dolphins. Look at it, he runs right into him there. Colts would now kick a field goal on this drive to make it 20-0. So now, Dolphins have the ball to start the 3rd quarter in the second half. 3rd and 3, 2 in the gun. H-N to his right. Right? You got a 3-by-1 set. And it's going to turn into a 2-by-2 look after the motion with Tyreek. It's 11 personnel for the Miami. There's it. It's like cover 3-1. It's like cover 3 right now for the Colts. And watch this. Watch the drag coming from the left side with Eskridge out of the slot. Tua, you got the... Look at this. You've got the first. Take the sticks, brother. Take the sticks. You've got the first. Look at the helmet. There's a Dolphin right in the middle of it. But instead, you're going to force the ball late over the middle on the dig where Latu has dropped from the right flats into coverage over the middle of the field right in the passing lane. Brother, Eskridge was the ball on this one. This is an easy interception for Latu. And Tua's bad day continues. You got to take the sticks here. Look at Tua's got good protection with plenty of time. Starts to his right side, comes back. Look at he's going through his progressions. You got Eskridge right there, buddy. There it is. Take it. And Latu just reads the eyes and drops. Look at 97. Reads the eyes and drops. And sees you going for Malik. Bad decision, man. You got the sticks, bro. Take the easy throw, and that's not the first time you're going to see him not take the easier throw. Dolphins down 23-0 now. Next drive after the interception, 2 in the gun. HN to his right, 3 receivers to the left, 11 personnel for Miami, cover 3 for the Colts. Look at, after making one of the better throws on this day, on this very drive, which was a 21-yard gain to Tyreek, Tua makes a baffling decision here, and he takes a much tougher throw. Watch the top left here of the screen. Watch Waddle and Washington. Waddle's in the orange cleats, Washington's in the black cleats. It's basically going to be a levels concept to that side, all right? You're going to have a deep out from Waddle, and then you're going to have an even deeper out next to that from Washington. It's levels to that side, right? And Waddle, watch him on the inside. He's going to sell the dig with a jab step and then break out underneath. I mean, and Tua's locked in on that side the whole time. You got to be watching the leverage, and you got to be watching the coverage to this side. Waddle should have been the throw here all day. Instead, Tua takes the much tougher throw to Malik Washington, and Malik tries to make the catch, but he can't keep his feet in. And look at Waddle's got his hands up. Like, bro, again, watch. You got to read the coverage and what's happening. Look at the coverage moved in with the motion. You know you've got a safety, right? You know you've got a safety. And that safety's biting towards the hash. Brother, you got to take Waddle, man. And these are mistakes Tua usually doesn't make. But you got to read the leverage. And you got to read the coverage. You had him released at the second level, one-on-one of the safety, giving ton of cushion, playing inside towards the hash. This is Waddle. Because what's worse here is when you watch it, ladies and gentlemen, Waddle could have walked this in for 6. Look at Waddle could have walked that in for 6, brother. And Malik hasn't even, made his break yet. Like, come on, man. And look at Waddle throws his hands up a little bit because he's like, brother, come on. I don't know why you take that tough. I just, and I saw a play later in the game where he predetermined, he went to Jalen Waddle on I want to say it was a curl or a hitch or something. And he had a mismatch. He had 3 receivers on the left side of the field to 2 corners. He didn't even look that way. And I was like, what are you doing? Tua is not a one-read quarterback. But in this film, you find instances of him locking in on one read pre-snap. And you're like, why are you doing this? And that was a missed opportunity to make, just to make the much tougher throw. I don't know here. Anyways. So this is 2 plays later after the Washington incompletion. 4th and 6 from the Indianapolis 31. This is a bad rep from Jonah here. And kind of Brewer too. Brewer's going to pass off 97 Latu to Jonah. And Latu's going to go low, and he's going to take Jonah out, who is off balance, right? He passes him off. And look he takes Jonah's off balance. And Brewer, look at Brewer. He's late to catch the looper. Watch 52. He's late, but then Brewer does recover, gets him out of the way. But because he basically threw Latu into Jonah's down now. And what's Tua going to do? Tries to move up, and it's incomplete to Tanner Connor. Unbelievable. Turnover on downs. So now it's 30-0. 2nd and 3. 2 in the gun. HN to his left. 1 by 3 receiver set. 11 personnel for Miami. It's cover 4 for the Colts. Jonah, watch the left guard here. He's going to get put on his heels a little bit. Tua's going to feel the pressure. Roll out wide to his left. Tua's going to make a nice throw on the move to Tyreek, who adjusted his dig route to go over top of the coverage and get open. And I don't know why McDaniel didn't throw the flag here. Watch. He adjusts his route right there. Look over the top. There, he's over the top. And Tua makes the throw. Feet are in. The feet are in right there, ladies and gentlemen. The feet are in. Why aren't you throwing the flag? In a game where not many things went the Dolphins' way, probably could have used this. But again, look at Jonah's on his heels a little bit, right? I told you guys that interior is no joke in Indianapolis with Buckner and Grover Stewart. And look at Tua on the roll, makes a throw. And it's there. It's there. The feet are in, ladies and gentlemen. That is a good catch. And that's a good play. But McDaniel, who's been flag happy the last couple of years, decides this is the one where he tucks it away. Okay. So now it's next play after the Tyreek completion. Thank God for Achane. 2 in the gun. Achane to his right. 1 by 3 receiver set. 11 personnel for Miami. Colts show cover 1. It's an outside zone give to the left that Achane gets great blocking on that side from Patrick Paul and Jonah. Achane off to the races. Look at clearing out. Good job there. Clearing out that left side for Achane. Good job. Would like to see Savaianaya finish a little stronger, but I'll take it. And that left side, this is, I've highlighted a few times, this is going to be their bread and butter running the football. Good job by Brewer, too. But look, it just gets enough. Let's go. Great job by that left side. All right. 4th and goal now at the 11 after Miami took a too many men in the huddle penalty. Yeah, okay. 2 in the pistol, 1 by 3 receiver set with Tyreek split out wide left. 11 personnel for Miami. Cover 4 for the Dolphins. Tyreek motions in. It's going to be a swing pass to Achane on the right side with Connor as the lead blocker. What an effort by Achane, especially at the 3 to fight through the defender right here and score when this isn't Achane's game. Miami would convert the 2-point conversion to make it 30-8. But can we talk about how we're on the 11 and we're running a swing pass and this is your grand plan? Give me a break. Thank God for Achane. And I just wanted to show this play. Colts have the ball now. 3rd and 10. This is just a great job by Jordan Phillips, 94 in the middle here to get off his block and stuff the run. I wanted to highlight it because in the 4th, he was one of the few bright spots of the game. And this forced the Colts. Look at how he gets off that block and stuffs the run. This forced a field goal. And that was 3rd and short. So shout out to Jordan Phillips. But yeah, that's the film, ladies and gentlemen. Not overly pretty. Nothing to really write home about. That's for sure. Storm Duck was not good. Jonas Savaianaya was rough. Tua was not good. Front 7 wasn't getting enough pressure. We weren't getting compensate that. We weren't getting calls that we should have been getting. Just a bad day. And now you got to find a way to wipe the slate clean, and move on into New England. That's it. And Ollie Gordon needs to get more reps so you can use him in those blocking situations without telling the defense what you're doing. So that's what I got for you today. I'll be back tomorrow with Richmond and ball game for the finish line, and then I'll be back on Thursday with Neil, and we're getting ready to do it all over again with the Patriots. So smash that like button, subscribe if you are new. I appreciate each and every one of you for coming through. Over 400 of you in the room. I will see you on the next one. Until then, fins up as far as they can be, huh? Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Thank you to everyone who donated. Thank you. Go get Will Hernandez. I'm down, Michelle. Or Michael. I'm down. Go get Will Hernandez. What do we got to lose? Fins up. See you on the next one.